My husband and his sister were killed in the Sobe blast. His sister wasn't seen, but what we found was only his burnt bones. Thanks to Allah. That day was a very shocking one, but now we are recovering, thanks to Allah.
1 year ago, Somalia suffered its worst ever terror attack. At least 587 people were killed when a massive truck bomb exploded in the capital, Mogadishu. The militant group Shabab was held responsible, and on Sunday, Somali authorities executed the man accused of orchestrating the explosion. But attacks in Somalia are not uncommon. For decades, the threat of terror has plagued the country. So is enough being done to bring peace and stability to Somalia? Well, let's ask Thabit Mohamed. He was the mayor of Mogadishu at the time of the attack last year. Thanks for joining us, Thabit. It's hard to believe that it's been a year. It was horrendous. What a terrible atrocity. Let me ask you, looking back, do you believe that more could have been done when you were in office to possibly prevent it happening?
Thank you very much, first of all. Thank you for having me to tell the story of October 14. October 14 last year was a tragic incident, and Mogadishu has experienced its most severe attack. And of course, that time, if I just recall back, and during my time at the office, Benadir Regional Administration, which is called BRA, or Mogadishu Municipality, which also I was the mayor of the city, was not, the current and the previous security structure was not under the administration. So it was directly under the federal government, particularly with the Minister of Internal Security. So it was not coming, actually, the structure wasn't coming under Benadir administration. So what I know for sure is that, that attack was horrific. And I passed the junction, which was quite traffic, 10 minutes before the explosion. And I reached to my office, which is 4 kilometers away from the explosion scene. And I could hear the explosion as it was just right next door. I came back immediately at the scene, and the thing that I have seen was a terror, horrific incidents, because there was a life a few minutes ago when I passed there. And when I came back, there was the destruction, and the atrocities and the horrendous attack was unbelievable, and the magnitude of the explosion was even also unimaginable.
Right. And so we're looking at the execution of Hassan Aden Ishaq that just happened. We look at this news and we ask, is that justice for the people of Somalia by executing this man?
I think when it comes to the relevant institutions can answer that question, but in my opinion, I would say that justice can only serve at its best level for the victims. And of course, we would like to hear more from the government to explain further about how the investigations were carried out and also the final execution which was done. But what matters most is just an openness, and also to come forward and explain to the people about, whoever has done this. And we know that it was a terror act. We know that something that has terrorized our people, and it was the most severe attack in Mogadishu, in Somalia, and in Africa.
And in terms of what has happened afterwards, in terms of securing Mogadishu and the rest of Somalia, in terms of preventing possible terror attacks from Shabab and maybe even Daesh and maybe even Al-Qaeda remnants, is Somalia in better shape right now, and is it getting better help from the international community?
In fact, while I was in the office, I think it's worth mentioning that when I was in the office, I was only 7 months in the office before the explosion happened. And before and after, both we were lobbying for, we were advocating for to devolve the security sector so that, and also empower the local administration, which was Benadir administration. And that's not a rocket science. It has been done. We have seen best practices, such as if you look at Somaliland, it's quite calm, it's quite peaceful, than Mogadishu. If you look at Puntland, it's the same. And that, I think, the best practice is something that has been implemented, which is to create ownership for the security and empower the local administration, so that it's dealt at local level for a local benefit. And to answer the question, I think the status quo continues. The security structure has not been reformed. When I say has not been reformed, I mean exactly that it's not coming under Benadir administration. It's still under the federal government, which lacks the ownership, the same ownership as Puntland or Somaliland or Jubaland as well, especially the city of Kismayo. So I think the security structure and the reform would have been better to empower the local administration and devolve the security sector as well.
And had you expressed this to President Farmajo Mohamed?
Actually, I did during my time, and also before the tragic incident. I did, and we talked to, and I expressed this clearly during the security conference, which was held in Halane, or at an international airport, inside which has been attended by the international community on November. The first week of November. I clearly expressed in my remarks, and I reached out my principals as well, the leaders of the country, just to explain that the only way that the global terrorism, which is a new phenomenon, can be dealt is at local level. Mm-hmm. And at local level, when I say, is just to empower and also devolve the security sector so it has an ownership.
Right. And there are those who say beyond defeating Shabab militarily, at the root cause, you need to talk to them. Interesting op-ed written recently by the former National Security and Counterterrorism Advisor, Hussein Sheikh Ali, says Somalia needs to talk to Shabab. That's what they need to do. I wonder what you think about that, especially given that the memory is quite fresh of what they just did a year ago when they killed almost 600 people. Would you talk to them?
I think what I would say is nothing is impossible. I think the art of politics and also the art of solution is just you have to open your door to get a peaceful solution. But in the meantime, also there must be a parallel security strategy and operations that are tangible, that are also a national plan. That's also part of, as I said again, that has an ownership at local level. So I would say that I think the president has long time ago and several times repeated amnesty and amnesty for defectors coming out from Shabab. But also I think in terms of there must be a military pressure from what is going on. But I would say nothing is impossible, and it's always good to open to open your doors for peaceful negotiations.
Thabit Mohamed, hope to have you on the Newsmakers again very soon. Thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure.